Whoa, now, what it do, YouTube? This is TK with Cuts by Kelly. In this video, we're gonna do a ball fade, and I'm just gonna focus on one side of this ball fade, so you should get some good content out of this. And if you do, hit the like button, consider subscribing, also leave a comment if you have any questions or concerns about what I'm doing. But with that, let's get into the video. Yeah! Okay, so we're doing this ball fade. So the first thing we gotta do is set our ball line. And you see how I set it with my clippers? You should set it like this, with your clippers this way. Instead of setting it like you're doing a lining, it'll be easier for you to get the lining out, to get that lined out into fade if you just do it upside down. But I've been doing it like this for a while, but sometimes I turn my clippers upside down too, just to make it easier for me, and it helps me to skip a step at the end. I'm knocking this hair down with a number 2 all the way open against the grain, and with this length it allowed me to do a little bit of styling. I think this is number 2, it might be a number 3. No, it's a number 2. So anyway, I did a little styling at the end, not nothing major, but something neat. I liked it, but he did not like it. He wanted his hair laying flat, so after I took my picture, then I laid it flat for him like he liked it. So here we go, we're knocking out the weight on the side, and I'm doing that with a 1/8 guard. And I'm going against the grain, obviously, and make sure you treat this step seriously. You want to go over and over it till you diminish the hair or thin out the hair as much as you can. Because that's going to help you blend towards the end so it could be seamless. Now that we knocked out the weight, I'm setting my midway point all the way open with no guard, and this just so we don't bring the fade up too high. It just keeps us honest on both sides, so we can have the fade blended on each side evenly. So here's the first step of the fade. It's closed, and you're gonna go back and forth like 2 or 3 times, really like 3 or 4 times. That way you could get as much hair off as possible. Now I'm at a quarter of the way open. These are the Gamma Proteges. One thing I like about these is that they have the notches on side, so it's good for a beginner. Just like your Andis Masters, those notches are there so you can see exactly where you are with your lever. Now I'm going to 3/4 of the way open. I typically go close, quarter, 3/4, then all the way open. They do have a halfway point, but you don't necessarily have to use it. But you can. When I first started fading, I used each one of those steps, but as I started fading longer and longer, I just skipped the middle step, and usually I use that step when I go to clean up. Here I go with my 1/16 guard on, and I have it closed, and like I said, I'm using the corner of my clipper to knock out that midway point line. Notice that I'm going back and forth like I mentioned, just to make sure I got that whole little level, that level even. And right now we're working at close with the 1/16 guard. So I'm going back and forth on that level to make sure it's all even. Once I feel like it's even enough, or if I get as much as I can at the time, then I go to my next step. And right now I'm going to my quarter of the way open with the 1/16 guard. So I want to repeat that for you. You just go back and forth like 3 or 4 times, and if you still see hair coming off, you could keep going back and forth, because the more you go over it, it's gonna help you out when it's time for cleanup or when you finish the fade process, because the blend is gonna be pretty seamless, and you'll just have to get a few spots. Right now I'm on 3/4 of the way, And you can see as I go up, the fade is setting in and it's looking pretty good. And I only have a few spots that I have to get. So this is good for somebody who's beginning because you don't really see too many of the spots. All your fades pretty much look good in a sense. Because I remember when I first started, man, I just knew I was knocking out some fades. But when my brothers and my sisters and my wife would look at them, they're like, bro, that's trash. And so at the beginning, it's good that you go back and forth over your levels just so you can have a better blend. So right now, I'm just going back and forth. I'm pretty much going through my cleanup right now, trying to catch whatever spot I can catch, whatever spot I can see. And typically, I always do my cleanup right after I fade, but then I do one last pass after I hit them with the lining, because the lining always brings out more spots to me. So I fade, then I do a spot check or cleanup, and then I do the lining, and then at the end of the lining, I do one last spot check. Here I go with the cleanup at the bottom now with my clipper all the way open with no guard. You really want to be picky when you're doing your cleanup and all your fading, because that's the only way you'll get better, when you're trying to pay attention to the details. So for me, I try to do it as much as I can so I can improve in my craft. One thing I didn't do with this video is I didn't take an after picture with my camera, so I used my phone. So it's gonna look a little different, but you'll see the finished product. I hope you like this content. I hope you like this haircut. If you did, if you found any value in this, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell as well. Leave a comment if you have any question or concern. So this is a ball fade. I got a number 2 all the way open against the grain on top, and I'm fading the sides out into that. So here's the finished look. I hope you like it. Consider subscribing. And this is TK with Cuts by Kelly, and I appreciate you.